I first want to start by thanking everyone for participating in this Zoom interview. As everyone is aware, the Cochran Firm Cleveland office, on behalf of the family of Tamia Chapman, filed a lawsuit against several officers as it relates to the pursuit and chase that led to the tr- horrific, tragic death of Tamia Chapman back on December 20th, 2019. I want to introduce everyone that is here with me. My name is Sean Williams, Shean Williams. I am a partner at the Cochran Firm Cleveland office. With me is Stanley Jackson. He is managing attorney for the Cochran Firm Cleveland office. And we have the mother of Tamia Chapman, Sherry Chapman, and we have Eileen Cunningham, the aunt of Tamia Chapman. I want to first start this press conference by reading something directly from the city of Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams. Back in January of 2020, at a town hall meeting, Chief Williams said this should not have happened. We're going to do everything possible to turn over every stone to find out exactly what happened. And if my guys are culpable, they are and will be punished for it, period. That is what Chief Williams told this community. He told this family over 5 months ago. And now as we sit here today, this family has not heard anything from the City of Cleveland Police Department regarding their investigation, regarding holding these officers accountable, and no one has been punished, disciplined for this horrific and tragic death of this 14-year-old young lady. It does not take that long to determine what happened on December 20th, 2019. It has been 6 long months that this family has not gotten justice for the loss of their lovely little girl. And we've seen in recent days in Minnesota with the tragic death of George Floyd, caused by the hands of police officers. We've seen it here in Cleveland with the death of Desmond Franklin at the hands of officers. We have a duty and responsibility to hold officers accountable when their actions are unjustified and cause the tragic death of people who are innocent. And Tamia Chapman was an innocent little girl who did not deserve to die on December 20th, 2019. We, in this lawsuit on behalf of this family, are going to do it ourselves. We're going to hold the City of Cleveland Police Department, these officers involved, accountable. That's what this lawsuit is about. We are here to get justice against the 22 officers, and I said it, 22 officers who we understand were involved in the pursuit and chase that led to the tragic death of Tamia Chapman. Now, briefly, I'm going to just tell you, based on our investigation, as we told you back earlier this year, on behalf of the Chapman family, our firm will use our resources, and we have on our own independent investigation determined that there are 22 officers who were involved in that tragic day that cost Tamia's life. As we know, there was a high-speed chase and pursuit started by an off-duty officer by the name of Officer Raspberry. Subsequent to that, supervisors as well as other officers got involved in this chase, spanning over 20 miles and hitting speeds in excess of 80 to 85 miles per hour. That in and of itself, as you're going through towns and cities and streets where innocent bystanders, pedestrians, other vehicles and motorists, it is in and of itself simply negligent, reckless, and shows wanton disregard. And that's what we have alleged in our lawsuit against these 22 officers. The City of Cleveland Police Department's own policies and procedures require that there are due care and regard when you are doing these chases and pursuits. The state of Ohio has specific statutes that set forth that these officers must conduct reasonable care when they are doing these chases. It is clear from our independent investigation that these 22 officers did not exercise due care. And as a direct result of that, Tamia Chapman is not here with her family. We are seeking in this lawsuit damages for the wrongful death of the beautiful life that we lost of Tamia Chapman. We are also seeking damages for the horrific pain and suffering that Tamia Chapman experienced leading up and prior to her death. We will also, in this litigation, be seeking and asking for changes to happen with the Cleveland Police Department through their policies and procedures, through the discipline of these officers involved or lack thereof. We want changes done. And we want to make sure that everything we do in this litigation, make sure this does not happen to any other family in the city of Cleveland again. That being said, I'm turning it over to Stanley Jackson, the managing attorney of the Cleveland Cochran Firm office.
Good evening, everyone. We are here today because Cleveland is hurting, especially this family. And as the Cochran Firm, we're going to be doing what we need to do to make sure that we seek justice for them, but not only for them, but for others that may be impacted by this tragedy. Cleveland is a great city. However, we have our own issues and faults. And this is a glaring example of what that is. We have a situation here where officers who we believe that weren't properly trained got involved in a police chase that should have never happened. They valued the property and the opportunity to be involved in the chase than this young lady's life. At the time of the incident, a school was letting out and there were a plethora of kids walking down the street. And as Sean said, we have investigation evidence that shows that they were driving close to 90 miles an hour in the school district. This is unacceptable. And as the firm, we will be holding these officers in the city accountable. We want you to understand that this doesn't happen in a vacuum. America and the city the country are hurting. You see all these police issues that are going on, and it's up to us and others like us to make sure that we get policy change, real change. And that is what we're here for. And so as one of the attorneys of the firm, I'm here to ensure, as well as Sean Williams, that we will be relentless in this pursuit. We will be aggressive. We will continue to have our investigation to make sure that anything, at least within this particular situation, is dealt with in a way that is going to be safe for the people of East Cleveland, safe for the people of the citizens of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. And we hope that this policy change that we're seeking, we hope that this lawsuit will change things not only in our area, Northeast Ohio, but Ohio and the country. And that other attorneys look at what we're doing here as we look at what they've done in the history of our firm and what we've done over the history of the years to make sure that things change, that we do not have these police chases. So statistically, it shows that African Americans are 3 times more likely to die as innocent bystanders in a police chase. And apparently in Cleveland, considering we already have a consent decree that is supposed to be ensuring or at least helping to shape policy to make sure that the previous situation we had would not happen. Apparently, we are here today. I want you to understand that myself and Sean Williams and the partners at the Cochran Firm and all of our offices throughout the country are committed to making sure that there is real change. Oftentimes you see a lawsuit and you think there's going to be some large financial settlement. We're here for policy. We're here to make sure that Cleveland is safe. We're here to make sure that there's real change. And we will be relentless in making sure that happens. Thank you.
This is Sean Williams again. I'm going to let Eileen Cunningham, the aunt of Tamia Chapman, speak briefly on her thoughts regarding where we're at this point on behalf of this family.
The family just wants justice for
Hold
Tamia.
on for 1 second. Would you please, Yvonne, put Ms. Cunningham, unmute her?
She should be unmuted. There we go.
The family of Tamia just wants justice for her. It's still upsetting to them dealing with the loss that happened because of the way she was tragically killed. It's been so disappointing to the family that they have not heard anything as they were promised from the city of Cleveland. So right now they're still trying to cope with this loss. And like I said, it's just so upsetting to them. They lost their sister. She lost her daughter, and it's still quite difficult for her to deal with now. So she's pleased with what the Cochran Firm is doing for her and the family at this time.
Thank you. So we are ready for any questions that anyone has. I think Yvonne from our office is going to let everybody raise their hand or do something to be unmuted, okay?
Yes, just a moment. Okay, we're ready if they have questions. Scott No has a question. Just a moment. Okay, Mr. No.
Yeah, just wondering why you guys named individual officers but didn't name Cleveland Police Department, City of Cleveland, so forth in the lawsuit itself.
Sean, you have to unmute. There you go. Okay.
Scott, good question. Because this is not a federal claim under 1983 or 1988, it's a state claim for violation of policies and procedures and basically a claim for negligence under the statute. By in essence suing the officers directly and individual, we are, based upon Ohio law, also suing the police department, but in an indirect way. So based upon kind of procedural and legal aspects of it, the proper way to do this is to sue the officers directly for their actions.
But not the city itself?
but not the city itself directly. You are suing the city of Cleveland Police Department and the city by, in essence, through their official capacity, suing the officers.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Corey Schaefer has a question. Okay, Mr. Schaefer, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, thanks. Two things. One's more kind of a direct question, the other is to kind of address, I'm sure what, the city's going to respond to this. So can you say a little bit about the investigation that you guys did and how you determined the speed that the officers were traveling at? And I think I saw a reference in the lawsuit to no lights or sirens being used at some point. So can you address that as well? And then the second question, I guess the third question would be, I'm sure that the police are going to say, the blame here lies with the individuals who were in the car driving the stolen car. So can you respond to that as well? Thank you.
Do you want to do the investigation or me? I do the blame.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Through our own private investigation, we were able to determine through skid marks and through video assembly that the officers were going anywhere between 80 and 90 miles an hour. We believe that there are other information that we don't have access to at this moment that may also confirm that. We also had, during our investigation, was able to uncover through witnesses and things of that nature, officers in unmarked cars who were part of the chase. And through information that was provided to us through an open records request and some of the video and audio that we were able to receive, we were able to determine that some officers, or the amount of officers that you see that are in the complaint, who those officers were, and their actual, how they were involved in the chase. Sean can answer the rest.
Okay. Okay, Sean.
Yes. So as Attorney Jackson said, we've used our full resources of this firm to get to the bottom of a lot of this. But what we've also done is we also represent another young lady that was also injured. We've talked to witnesses, so we know certain information that has not been provided to the public. And that's one of the things and the purposes of this litigation. Chief Williams said he was going to be transparent and get to the bottom and turn every stone. We believe that has not happened. It is sad it has taken this long, but one of our goals is, Corey, is to continue with this litigation and make sure every stone is open for the whole public to see. And so while we pursue this litigation, we want to make sure that the information gets out to the public. As relates to the cities, your question about the city's going to blame the individuals who have already been charged and sentenced for the carjacking that started the genesis of this, we expect that. But the responsibility to protect and serve was not on those individuals. It was on the officers who gave an oath to this family and to this community to take reasonable actions when they are serving out their duties. That didn't happen. The aspect of greatness is responsibility. In a city as great as Cleveland, the police officers need to take responsibility for their actions and not blame someone else. At the time that this incident and the chase occurred, the original victim was already safe. The only thing they were chasing at that point was property. And as we've stated before, there's never a situation where property should be taken over the life of a person, particularly this young lady. And so we don't see any justification and any blame that the city or the city of Cleveland Police Department will put on anybody else. The individuals that could have the the power and the opportunity to make sure this did not happen were the 22 officers we've named in this lawsuit.
Any more questions? I believe that's it, Sean.
All right, thank you.
Oh, wait, we have one more from Corey Schaefer. He's with cleveland.com. Just a moment. Okay, Mr. Schaefer.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to see if Tamia's relatives wanted to say anything about her. I know that we've gone through, you guys have had a couple conferences before. I've never attended one. So, if there's anything they want to say right now while we're all listening, I'd love to hear it.
Ms. Cunningham.
Let me unmute them.
Ms. Cunningham, will you just say something about Tamia and what type of person?
She needs to be unmuted, Sean. I asked to unmute. There we go.
Tamia was loved very much by her family. She was a very vibrant young lady, very talented young lady. And the family is missing what she provided to the family. They miss her presence. They miss her as a sister, as a daughter, as a cousin, as a niece. She had a bright future ahead of her, and that was taken from her. And the family is, like I said, they're suffering tremendously, and it's still a difficult situation for them to deal with the way she was taken out of, the way she was taken away from them. And there, it's going to be a long time for this healing process for them.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson had a comment. Let me unmute you. Mr. Jackson? There you go. Okay.
Correct. As a Clevelander, I take this personal. I know that I've had a chance over the course of this investigation to get to know more about Tamia Chapman, but more in addition to the family as well as the community. And what I've learned is that this young lady, as the family has said, was a vibrant young lady who was always involved in the community. She was actually on her way at the time to a Christmas program along with a plethora of other kids who loved her. The kids in the community are hurting. The community is hurting. The city of Cleveland is hurting. The outpour and support to this family has been tremendous. And so that says a lot about this young lady's life at such a young age to be able to have that type of impact. And we are devastated, much like the family, that this young lady isn't here. And so we want everyone to understand who this young lady was, what a rising star she was. And because of actions of the city of Cleveland and the police, she's no longer with us. And that's unacceptable. As a Clevelander, I know that our city is better than that. And I would not want our city to be on national television for this type of issue. It's unacceptable.
Thank you. Any more questions? Sean, I believe that is it. Sean, can you unmute? I believe that's it. Oh, here's another question from Mr. Schaefer with cleveland.com. Can you take one more?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mr. Schaefer.
Thanks again. Last thing I got is just can you talk a little bit about what specific policy changes you're hoping to get out of this lawsuit? And then that's all I got, and I want to thank you now for that.
Corey, thanks for that question. The specific policies we want to change is, first, the policy of not making sure that the officers that are out here whose duty is to protect and serve are properly and adequately trained to carry out those duties. We want to make sure that in chases like this, based on what we have seen in this investigation, this was wanton and disregard and reckless, and it's pure evidence that they were not properly trained and adequately prepared to handle the situation. Number two, we believe that the policy that's currently in place is inadequate to deal with these circumstances. We believe there's too many decisions still left in officers' hands instead of being very direct about what should and should not happen in these situations. Specifically, there is no reason in our belief that there should be a policy at the City of Cleveland Police Department where officers get the opportunity to participate in the high-speed chase of 80 to 85 miles per hour during a school time, during the day when school is letting out on a busy street to chase for property, a stolen vehicle at this point. We believe that needs to stop. So in essence, we want, like other people in this community, for this department and other departments in this area to stop the chase. Stop the chase when it's not reasonable. Stop the chase when the risk to others and innocent bystanders are too high. We have too much technology in police enforcement and in this country that you cannot determine and find those individuals at a later date or time. And so we believe that those type of policy changes are necessary to ensure that this does not happen to any other family in Cleveland again. Thank you guys for your time.
We have one more question, Sean. Are you available to take one from Fox 8?
Since we hadn't done one from Fox 8, yes, one last question.
Okay. Okay, Fox 8.
Thank you so much. This is Peggy Gallup with Fox 8. I really appreciate it. And I want to tell the family how sorry I am for your loss. I'm very, very sorry. And I wanted to know if the family or the attorneys, are you looking at some of the officers to face discipline or criminal charges in regards to this?
I'll take that. You may take it.
Stanley or Sean?
I'm going to take it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, we specifically definitely want these officers involved to be disciplined and terminated for their actions and the wanton disregard. Regarding the criminal aspect, I'm going to allow that decision to be left to the law enforcement and the district attorney and individuals determine whether there's crime or not. We're here to make sure, though, that these individuals who we believe violated Ohio law and violated the policies and procedures of the City of Cleveland Police Department and violated industry standards for police chases should no longer be allowed to work and be disciplined in the manner that we see quick action taken in the Minnesota case with George Floyd. I don't believe it takes 5 months or 6 months from this incident and 5 months from when Chief Williams told this community that he would look under every stone and leave no stone unturned for us to have a determination on what happened on this incident and whether their actions were appropriate. That in and of itself shows me that they have no real intent to make changes. So our goal is that this lawsuit forces those changes and creates an environment where we can make sure that our kids and our community can walk home safely without this tragic situation happening again. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time.